Hi, it's Ruth.
And it's Sandi.
Sandy's lived in Altadena for years, deeply rooted in its history and dedicated to its sustainability. I'm new to this place, but I've been completely taken by its spirit, its creativity, its sense of belonging, and the resilience that rose from the Eaton Fire.
The fire changed everything. Many want to rebuild the Altadena that was. But what we've learned is that rebuilding isn't just about structures, it's about people, stories, and hope.
Altadena is a quilt of many patches, diverse, imperfect, and beautiful. Together, we're stitching something new from what remains.
This podcast is about those threads, the stories of the people who faced loss and found purpose, who hold the past close but keep stepping towards the future.
These are the voices of Altadena.
This is Footprints from the Foothills.
What are you gonna do? There's nobody up here. You have to close. You're gonna have to pack this up. And I just wasn't ready. I didn't want to.
We're here with Angela Hyland Fernandez, the owner of Adelaide, a charming boutique on North Fair Oaks in Altadena. I actually just happened to stumble upon your shop a few weeks ago. Tell our listeners a little bit about yourself, your connection to Altadena, like how long you've been here, what brought you here, a bit about your background.
I've grown up in Medinas, in South Pasadena. I went to school, was raised in South Pasadena, and then moved out to Pasadena as an adult, and then I moved to Altadena. But once the pandemic hit, I had to move back to South Pasadena to care for my mom, make sure she didn't go out during the pandemic. Then I was able to move back and bought a home in about April 2024. I lived there for 8 months prior to the fire. I had lived here for many years. Ironically, the house that I rented is still standing. And that was a beautiful home, and my children and I were heartbroken when we had to leave it.
Tell us how you got the inspiration for this wonderful store and what you did prior to that. Were you in retail before?
No, I wasn't. I was a teacher for 29 years. I worked for the Los Angeles Unified School District, and I most recently worked at Panorama High School. And I just retired in June. After the fire, I didn't feel like I was giving the students all I could anymore. And I think they picked up on it also. I had a very close connection with my students at Panorama High School. I was the ASB leadership coordinator, and I ran the restorative justice program. Everybody that's been employed here since the fire, since we reopened, are former students.
Angela's shop is really kind of a lone diamond. It's across from Fair Oaks Burger, which has been in the news a lot with some of the press conferences, but there's not a lot of other retail activity. What we wanted to do is get the word out that you're up here. Have you noticed business picking up since people have moved back? Started to move back?
Since people are starting to move back, yes. And the surrounding community has been really, really supportive of Altadena businesses, not just Adelaide, but going out of their way to come up and eat at an Altadena restaurant and then visit an Altadena business that might still be open. But Pasadena residents, all the surrounding communities, I feel have been really supportive.
So you've been in business before the fire, how long?
I had only been in business for 3 months. We had opened in October 2024, so we were open October, November, December, and then closed on January 7th.
And when did you reopen?
July 4th. So we were closed for 7 months. 6 months? 7 months. The building had to go through remediation. I thought, we couldn't get through after the fire. On January 8th, I was able to get to Fair Oaks and Woodbury, and I could see the smoke coming up from this area. Assumed that I had lost the business as well as my home. But then in that week or two after the fire, one of my family members was able to kind of sneak through the barriers, come into the shop, and it was like it was frozen in time. There was still flowers on the cooler, and the Christmas ornaments were all still out.
So did the clients and customers you started to establish Were they following up? Were you able to follow up with them so that you let them know that you were still going to be here?
Yeah, well, it was kind of up in the air. I didn't really know what to do. And honestly, some friends and family had said, what are you gonna do? There's nobody up here. You have to close. You're gonna have to pack this up. And I just wasn't ready. I didn't want to. So I went the opposite direction and retired from my day job and just decided to do this. I wanted to be here in the community and for the community.
So what do you think motivated you to feel that way?
It's always been something I wanted to do. I've always made things, crafted things, and sold them ever since I was a kid. My mom made ceramics, and she would have a pottery sale every year. And every year I would try to come up with something that I could sell. Plants, usually. So I've been growing things and planting things and gardening ever since I was a kid.
A creator, an entrepreneur.
Yeah, and I always wanted to have a shop or a small like hotel or motel that incorporated all the things that I liked. Hospitality, entertaining, decorating, food. I used to love to have parties and have everybody over.
So how are you going to replicate that here?
I love it when people are here, like just today. There was one customer here and he was looking around, and then two more walked in and they happened to know each other and just strike up conversation. So I like that this is a place where neighbors run into each other and can just visit and catch up. And then I'd like to try to host some events. We're going to have pie night on November 23rd. We're having pie night, and it's not about supporting the shop or shopping at Adelaide. I'm going to put tables outside and tables in the back, and hope everybody will either bring a sweet pie or a savory pie and just come with the neighbors and get to sit down and visit for a little while.
Okay, so you heard it first here, November 23rd.
23rd.
Sunday from about 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock. Yeah, bring a pie. It's kind of like a Friendsgiving, neighbors giving.
Really great idea. She's already had a couple of really nice events, and you've collaborated with Fair Oaks Burger just recently for Dia de los Muertos.
I asked Janet at Fair Oaks Burger if I could build an altar over there.
So you created that scene.
I did. Yeah, I was really happy with the number of people that participated and left pictures
of their homes that had been lost,
Yeah.
and pets and family members. And,
Yes, and then we particularly honored the 19 people that died in the fire.
Oh,
So we had photographs of each one of those individuals.
it was really touching. I went over and was kind of just, I
Yeah.
stood there, and it was very emotional.
I was really happy with, I don't want to say feedback. Everybody was open to it and everybody seemed to really appreciate it. And customers that came and went from Fair Oaks Burger really liked it and would come over here and thank me for building it. And
It's a real community effort and a tribute to the community, to Altadena and the fire and the people and all of the strength that people are showing to build back. And
this was a dream come true. After I bought my home and would drive up Fair Oaks, at some point there was a sign above the building, for lease. So I thought, well, what the hell? I'm just gonna call and see how much does it cost. I filled out the application, and before I knew it, I had to ask the realtor, Nicole, wait a minute, are you actually renting the building to me? She said, yeah, isn't that what you wanted? So then it started.
where do you find the artists that you feature here in the store?
I'm out at craft shows or on Instagram. I just ask people, are you interested in having your work here at Adelaide? So the oil paintings that are on the wall are really nice. Young woman, Jody Moyer. She lives in Monrovia. Amanda Austin has some of her work here, her original watercolors and some cards. The Altadena Candle Company, a woman named Clarissa has some of her paintings here.
The muralist, I saw him on the news.
Yes, Austin Scott. His work is here, and I do have his prints if anybody is interested. And then the rest, I'm sure I'm forgetting other people.
Well, I think everybody has to just come in and look for themselves, because I think, someone will find something they connect to.
The other product, I spend hours searching for a product, and I try to focus on made in Los Angeles, made in California, broader made in the United States. I have a weakness for the UK and Ireland, but all of it comes from other small businesses though. With the exception of some of the holiday things.
Looking around, I mean, you have such a good collection of things. You stationery, you have books, you have candles, you have, textiles.
Pottery, cocktail mixes.
Yeah,
Oh.
I mean, there's jewelry. I mean,
Blanket.
it's just such a nice collection. And I would encourage people for any type of gift that you need, you can come in here and find something.
Something will call to you.
We are also a florist. I feel a little awkward saying a florist. Make flower arrangements.
Well,
I
I've bought
don't
some of your bouquets and they're stunning. And I know you have experience working in floral arranging prior, and they're beautiful.
It's always been something. Even prior to having a shop, I would do flowers from home, flowers for people's birthdays and things like that. But I think that the shop as a whole has helped me in my recovery from the fire. I have done very little at the home that I rent. It's essentially empty. I put all of my effort into this.
Well, for those that can't see, there's all kinds of beautiful plants and flowers all through
The
store.
cheerful.
Yeah, it's an eclectic environment of lots of things for the home that make you feel comfortable and soothed and all that. And maybe that's part of your healing as well.
So would you say that the store is what home means to you right now, or what does home mean to you? Because we've all found out that home means really
A lot more than we thought.
more than our physical structure.
That's a tough one because honestly, like I mentioned, I had moved many times in the last 10 years and had only been in this house for a short time. And at the time of the fire, and I had finally moved in here in Pasadena, I was confused. I would start to drive home and I didn't know where am I going? Where is home? So yes, I think I've turned this into what home looks more like for me, because I never really had a chance to decorate on Raymond Street, and I had moved several times, and so what had made it to that house on Raymond Street was a very consolidated collection of only those things that make it with you when you move many times. So what made it to that house was only things that had meaning to me. All of the family heirlooms, artwork, my mom's pottery, my grandmother's things, my great grandfather's furniture, only things that really were important to me is what was in the house on Raymond. So when people say it's replaceable, well, no, it's not really.
Yeah, I think that's an important thing, because people say, well, it's just things and you can replace those things, but you can't replace things that were your past, your history, your life. They're just sensory memories of your life. And so is that partly what made it so difficult to move on, losing your home as well? Are you going to rebuild your home?
Going to rebuild. It's funny now thinking back to the months after state of shock, I must have been in, because I just sort of left it to the architect to
create
a house. I just said, I trust you, and I hardly gave him any input. I just told him, can you handle this for me, because I don't know what to tell you at this point.
You make so many small decisions and large decisions when building a house. It's overwhelming.
Yeah. So where do you see yourself in 2 years, 5 years here? Is your home going to be finished? What happens to your store and your business? What do you envision? What would be your ideal situation then?
I mean, I'm getting old to have this as where I'll be in 2 years and have developed it more. Running a business is also something that I'm learning as I go. So hopefully I will have had more experience. And then be more involved in the community.
Is there anything that you wish people understood about Altadena? I mean, if you had to summarize Altadena in a couple words, how would you describe it? And what has kept the attraction to this community?
Altadena is really a beautiful place. Like I said, I've grown up in the Denas. I'm very much grounded by the mountains. I've always told students and told my own children, the mountains are north. And it's very grounding. But Altadena is a diverse community, a beautiful community, the houses, the architecture, the trees, the parks, hiking trails. It's an artistic community.
It seems like you've taken all those pieces and brought them into your business, as a way of doing that, and also creating community by having events, connecting with Fair Oaks Burger, and whoever else, whatever, for your pie night, and it's going to be a really community oriented place for people to gather in a way aside from the business thing, and when they come for something special.
So I would love to be able to incorporate coffee or tea or looking at the mountains,
enjoying the world.
A really great location. There is a little backyard.
I can't wait for that. That sounds that sounds really fun. You have a lot of great dreams and imagination and heart that you put into this, and it shows. Has that helped with the recovery from the fire? Because it is a huge trauma, really.
Yes, absolutely. Honestly, I don't know if I didn't have the shop and I didn't have friends and family at the time of the fire. I learned very quickly overnight really how a person could really become destitute, become homeless very quickly if they didn't have friends and family to support them.
There's something in you, obviously, that's resourceful and resilient that has moved you on to stay here, to continue to do this. Because if I were to come in here, which I did, and I didn't know anything about the fire or about anything, I wouldn't know. This just looks like a beautiful store that has a very special touch of your personality now as I get to talk to you, and of all the things you love, and hoping that other people will love.
That's what I hope. I mean, yeah, I love using vintage vases, old pottery for pottery.
So in a way, it's you're trying to recapture some of the past that was lost in your home here for people for the future and for yourself as well.
The name of our podcast is Footprints from the Foothills. So we're going to ask you one final question, and that is, what footprint has this experience left on you?
You're not immune. Like everybody thinks, oh, that's not going to happen to me. And this was definitely something that you never, having grown up here, every year we have a high wind experience. Every year, not every year, but I've seen so many fires in the mountains, and they have always gone up and over or across. They have never come in my lifetime down into our community. It can happen to you. It will happen. It might hit home, and just the vastness of it. I just kept repeating to my dad and people, like, oh my gosh, you can see like right through the block. There's nothing but chimneys. And it was just, I don't know where I'm going right now, but why I'm saying that. But
impressions just that is left, yeah.
Yeah, and that it happened so quickly. I mean, in an 8-hour period of time, essentially, or 12 hours, our whole entire community burned down is unbelievable to me.
Yeah.
And still is. Like, I still get fired up. Like, how did this happen? How did this happen? What happened here?
When we're on our walks and when because no matter where you live in Altadena, you're within a half a block of complete devastation. Thankfully, the grit and the community that this place offers has helped all of us kind of start the healing process.
And to hear you talk about it, it's very moving. Thank you for sharing that and being open.
And is there any last thing? Is there anything that people inside or outside the community, how can they help most in the rebuild? Besides coming up here, yes, and just being part of seeing what has happened and supporting the businesses.
Yeah, I think coming up and supporting the businesses, the restaurants and small shops, just being present and being willing to listen, it hasn't gone away for us. You know, like
No.
many things that come up in the news, it's still very much a part of our daily life.
It's
The rest
going
of
to
the
be.
world might have moved on, but it's still every day a part of our
Yes.
talking to insurance, talking to, you know, the county, getting permits, all of these processes. So just listening, being aware that we're still in the middle of it, we're still in the midst of it, and it's going to be many years until we truly
Yeah.
have
Put it behind us. Yes.
recovered and put it behind us.
Well, and maybe you never will, and maybe you never should, because, you know, it changes you for the better, maybe.
Definitely, I feel that it was, you know, all the years that I wanted to have a shop and all the years that I wanted to do something creative and actually work where I live. It forced me to look, life is short and you've had this experience now, so it's time to make that change.
Well, we're glad you did.
Yeah.
And we feel like you're a beacon of light in the community. And
Thank you.
we again encourage everyone to come up to Adelaide on North Fair Oaks.
I hope everyone will come and enjoy, and it's been a pleasure and a highlight to definitely to get to talk
Thank
to
you
you.
for taking time out of your
Thank
very
you.
busy schedule.
Well, thank you. Honored that you asked me. Come and visit Adelaide, come to Altadena,
Yeah.
eat at Fair Oaks Burger, and come to Pie Night. And on Small Business Saturday, I'll have some nibbles here and some samples of the different cocktail mixes.
And when
Is that the 28th or
I
29th?
think it's the 29th, the Saturday after Thanksgiving.
and anything coming up in December that we can?
Yeah, we last year we were able to do a holiday soiree, so we'll probably do one evening of, and I've been collecting ornaments to give to families that lost all of their Christmas ornaments. So I have packages of ornaments to give, and then we're going to do like buy an ornament to donate. So I'll have a
Nice.
tree, and if anybody wants
Oh,
to
that's
buy an
really
ornament
nice.
to add to the tree with a little note.
Love that.
Can you-
And we hope to return again and have another chat with you. And
Yeah, and I'm expecting that latte anytime now.
thank you so much.
Thank you so much.